fix the country. It sounded like a very vague statement, like fix the country. Then people are like, fix what? Then you get counter response, fix yourself.
We are seeing very interesting things we've never seen before in the history of Ghana. Things in parliament, things everywhere. So for me, I'm both excited and worried.
For anyone out there, including myself, I'm also giving myself this motivation. Don't be pressured by other people, and then also the older generation.
Okay, so very good evening to you. You're welcome to the Ghana This Week show, and this is our last episode for the year and the season. My name is Raphael, and Merry Christmas to every single person, and thanks a lot for following us throughout the year and the season. It's been quite fun and it's been engaging. Today, I'm having a very interesting session and group of panelists and also friends. We're about to round up the entire year and to discuss major topics and things that have happened both on the local and international scene. First on my left, as usual, at this point is my co-host, but we are all together here in the studios. That's in person of Frank Oseit to Bannerman.
Why you mention all my government?
Oh, Charlie boy, how you doing? Merry Christmas, bro.
Charlie, Merry Christmas.
How's the Christmas been?
Accra, the diaspora should go back. We are tired. There's so much traffic in Accra.
That's a lot of things to take in. We'll talk about that. Then I have also with me making the second time appearance here. That's my doctor. Doctor, that's what I should say. Doctor and voiceover artist.
Aspiring voiceover artist.
Aspiring voiceover artist. That's the person of Roger. Roger, what's up?
My day,
Oh, feels good to have you back. How you enjoy the 30 December?
Oh, so far so good. I need more money, but so far so good.
Yeah, because I reckon you are actually moving everywhere, from Manifest to Sarkodia to everything. Or
me? Really? I don't know what you're talking about, Ralph.
Are you? Hey, Charlie, it's not because of the voiceover. You should be doing your voice.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and last but not the least is my namesake, Raphael Abankwa, is an engineer. I want to say a lot more, but
no, that's fine.
That's fine.
I'm just a chill guy.
But guys, generally, how has the Christmas been? Let's talk about Christmas first, because it took me 4 hours to get here, and I was pissed because the traffic was a lot. And every year, let's just start the conversation about Dirty December happening, and now two dynamics to the conversation. One, it's no more a Ghanaian thing because Nigerians seem to have taking it on because I hear Tyler, all the folks are there.
Everybody's in Nigeria.
Yeah, but at least Jeremy Frimpong is in Ghana. Then Jeremy Frimpong, the Bayern Leverkusen.
Okay, let's continue. I think that answers the question.
God, it's okay. Then what do you guys have to say about it?
United Tree. His banner is on like one of the clubs in Nigeria, apparently.
Yeah, but what do you guys think about generally the Dirty December atmosphere? Because for some things to have shut eye and stuff. What do you have to say about it before we dive into proper stuff?
This is what happens every year. People come to Ghana and things become expensive. Boats, 20 cedis boats is now 60 cedis. It's crazy. But I think the only thing I want to add, especially to the Dirty December chat, is there's this conversation that, Nigerians have stolen the Dirty December. Like, I'm very happy. I don't think they've stolen it per se, because you don't have a trademark of diasporans coming to your country to enjoy December. So you can't say they've stolen something that was never yours. But I can say that I'm happy. Because we're in this Ghana Galamsey issues, we're in this Ghana economic issues, so many things. Then everybody will just GI, not talk about it, not advocate for change. But then when it's December, let's all celebrate, let's all enjoy, let's go to Ghana, right? I feel like it's a lot like people going to poverty-stricken countries to just chill, right? And then go back to their countries, not caring about what's happening in those countries. So I don't really care.
Roger, what do you have to say about that?
Oh, me, I'm just upset about the traffic. Because
go on.
Traffic, prices of Bolt, Uber.
Charlie, for buy car, I think this is a sign.
Small. Yeah, but basically, I think things have just got a lot less comfortable for the average Ghanaian via commute, affording certain things, even transportation with the ride-hailing apps, etc. So for me, that's just the experience I don't like. As for this trademark and all of that, Charlie, people go where they feel like they can have a good time and where the climate or environment is favorable for them. So, Charlie, so be it.
Ralph, let me just make yours a little bit different. With 30 December operation, one thing we've realized a lot about Accra is all of a sudden lots of restaurants open, lots of hairdressing salon open.
Yeah.
Then after December they vanish and come back again. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a. I would not want to directly equate it to money laundering.
Go ahead. But that's the first stretch conversation.
I've heard this theory so many times.
But yeah, let it just finish.
Exactly. I do not want to directly. I mean, I don't want to say disclaimer then go on to claim it. So no. The first thing that I would talk about is, I think it's a big cash cow. During December, the demands are high. People are willing to pay more than market rate. So if you think within that period we can get what you need within that area, if it's hairdressing, if it's selling tote bags, then you can just bring in, get your quick money and go out, fine. But I don't endorse money laundering, but I endorse what it does to the economy. So whatever is happening in December, whatever dirty December brings to the economy, I'm fine.
None about Ralph. Wait. That was very.
Pablo.
You don't. You don't endorse the act, but you endorse the benefits. How?
Yeah, because I do not want to go into my controversial rough part, but for somebody that is an aspiring economist, I think that there is some part of wrongdoing that is allowed for the economy to keep on booming. And if you are not being a realist and you are being more theoretical, when you take out these negative externalities, you do not get the best out of an economy. Because these things need to happen for the economy to be continuous. So, I mean, this is out of what is supposed to be real. This is about purely being economist and taking out the social and the moral part.
So are you claiming that there's...
Before you go to the reductionist ones.
Let me give an example.
Let me see something bad.
So people were complaining about how people spending 30k in the club, 20k in the club and all that. Charlie, see the fraud boys and sons in this economy, they thrive because this is how they're able to chill and have the most fun. That is probably the most practical way to equate it. As a very moral being and someone who doesn't believe in these things, I see where you're coming from. But Charlie, everybody should just have fun and chill.
For me, I disagree with it completely. The reason I say so is because as somebody who would want to chill in February, March, April, these guys create a very unnecessary spike in price of things. Let's be fair. When you go to...
What is this, postponed Christmas?
No, it's not even postponed Christmas. Charlie, I always make it look like it's only December people are supposed to chill. Charlie, things such as the time for you to express yourself or have fun usually cut across the year. Notice in the past 4 years, price of things have gone up crazily after every day to December. So, for example, basic spend of 15 CDs in 2019, 20 CDs, all of a sudden 30. Now it is 50 CDs plus when you buy it in December.
Ralph, why Smirnoff?
I'm using that because that's like basic.
Yeah, but why that specific? Why that specific example?
I know,
yes,
right?
And too accurate with the numbers as well.
Food and drink services, so yeah.
Okay, so that's why.
So, fair enough. So Coke, for example, 5 CDs, 10. They sell it up to 50 CDs in some places in Accra in 30 December. You look at them like, hey, and in their defense, they say, oh, it's time for us to make money. For me, I feel like it's exploitation, to be fair, and it's people using the logic of, oh, there's demand for it, so let us do more. So you see, so when you go to Osu now and you want to buy fugu by mistake, sometimes it's supposed to be 50 CDs, they can mention 500 and look at your face and expect you to beat it down because
usually they are not the target market.
Yeah.
But the reason why a lot of these people make their prices so inflated is that they are targeting diasporans.
But if they do it to you guys in diaspora, would you be happy?
Me, mom, I won't buy some, so I will not go to someone's country and look at it.
So as a purist, as a moral, being whatever that you said, does it make sense that other people should allegedly be ripped off simply because you won't go there? Or that one there, the moral being thing doesn't matter.
See, me, I don't really care like that.
Okay.
I don't really care like that.
This thing I could always argue about interest and principles, but let us start with the year. So this year, one thing we've realized generally about the Ghanaian system has been youth and activism. for reasons, probably because it's a generation where I feel like I'm more of a youth, and because I pay taxes, I have the right to also discuss issues. But most importantly, this year the political activism has been a lot, from citizens to even galamsey issues, to every single issue that has happened, issues as trending such as free SHS and a lot of other issues. It seems like all of a sudden the youth are now having so much voices. I want to get your takes, because for me, I feel like, is it that because the older crowd or older generation have created a system of we don't complain, or it's just something like that, or all of a sudden we are looking at the rest of the world and we are realizing it's time for us to also make Ghana better, or else what's going to happen? Let me start from you, Banaman. What do you think has caused this rise to happen, especially in this year, if you look at scenarios of things that have happened?
So I think one thing we should take note of is that, because usually there's a misconception that the older generation doesn't really do much in terms of activism, and the youth are now rising. The thing is, the youth have always been very active. When you look at different timelines, Kwame Nkrumah's Young Pioneers were mostly the youth. A lot of the coups that happened in Ghana were mostly led by youthful groups. Even after Rawlings took over and wanted to create a change in Ghana, was the youth who were going down carrying cocoa seeds and everything and doing farming and all those things. So the youth have always been involved. But if you want to talk about specifically now, I understand the fact that for a while now, like, the youth have been tagged with a certain stereotype. Like, the youth are empty-headed, as someone would say, coconut heads. I will not mention his name, but we all know him. Like, there's this stereotype that all that you do is bet. All that you do is drink. All that you do is smoke and all those things. And tweet. Basically, that's why we are always on our phone. So there has been a rise in attacking the youth for every little thing. So I do acknowledge that the rise in activism this year is really good. From people going out on the streets to protest, doing online protesting and all that. I have a problem though. My problem is that even as the youth are actively speaking out against injustice, there's a whole section of youth that are seeing those things as you can only go out and protest because someone else told you to. You can only call out injustice because you belong to a particular political party. So the youth are able to rid that mindset off. I feel like we have a long way to go for activism to, like, go for it.
Charlie, Roger, what do you have to say about that?
Okay, so I think that well, we are always on our phones, like Banaman said, and that has a huge part to play, because the advent of social media has made mobilizing greater. We have apps for crowdfunding, we have apps to coordinate things, we know the routes we can use, we know where there's traffic, we know where we'll get this. So social media has had a really huge role to play recently. Like Banaman said as well, this is something we've discussed previously. I remember his example about me slapping you, and then he taking money from someone to go and tweet that, hey, Roger has slapped Ralph. And that's not making it any less true that I have slapped you. So I think that in any cause or endeavor that you find yourself in, the focus is always the end goal and not necessarily let's call them confounding factors that are bound. That's it.
Ralph.
I mean, I think that whole idea itself, I mean, there are a lot of responses to why people would wait for somebody to tell you, hey, let's go fight for this before we do. Because actually, the kind of activism that we've progressed into is organized activism. We are not doing the type of activism where people go fight for diverse reasons. We are all fighting against a united cause. And whilst there are definitely these doubts of organized activism being politically motivated, incentivized by specific influences that might have mundane interests that we do not know, I think that it goes back to what Roger says. What is the end goal? Do we get our results at the end of it? And what is the reason why you joined? Did you join this activism because a certain influencer says, let's get to the street? Or you're actually proximate to the problems that are happening and you want to fight them? So I think once we get these goals and we're able to affect our lives, everyone should be fine.
Yeah, but you see, I think a problem some school of thoughts have had with the kind of activism we do is that we, at a point, we are not very specific with demands. So, for example, fix the country. It sounded like a very vague statement, like fix the country, then people are like, fix what? Then you get counter response, fix yourself. When you talk about end galamsey, people are always asking for specific, like, when you say end galamsey, are you saying that they should cancel the mining of gold? Or don't you think those things might have also been a problem with regards to how people understand communication?
Yeah. So the thing is, first of all, we need to realize that this activism is not necessarily always manned by experts. Yeah. 1. 2, governments always have social contracts with the people. They are aware of the things that need to be done. When people highlight a problem, it is expedient for them to do that, but it is not necessary. So if you are expecting the people who are pointing out a problem to be as specific as or bring a solution, then for me, that reasoning would be very faulty. Because then why are there people there to ensure that the things are done?
But you see, the reason I'm saying this is to put in context, like, fix the country. You see, the reason I'm saying this is also because the general idea of protest have usually been specific demands made. Or I could be wrong, and that's the thing, it's opinions, I could be wrong. But usually protests always have a demand they go with. So when you say fix the country, we want accountability now, we want to know the funds that we have, we want to know the state of the country, we want to know A, B, C, D, E, F. Or there's a general one, fix the country, and everybody comes with their own. Somebody says LGBTQ, somebody says they want us to do that, want us to do this. Don't you think that for a society that already has problem listening to younger people and thinking people are already inexperienced, and 2, they generally they generally want us to look like you guys don't know what you're saying, and they will do some old technicalities to rubbish you. Do you think it's fair for us to still make that same approach with the general idea of dealing with them, then waiting eventually for specific results, or what?
So I think
Panaman, then Ralph.
So what Roger was saying, it's like, I've identified the problem.
Okay.
This is my problem. And I want to say that these protests had specific things that they were targeting. And it was very clear. Stop Galamsey means stop Galamsey. Like, I don't know what specific you want again as a government. Stop it. Like, stop polluting our water bodies. How you do it if you go and use soldiers, if you stop if you give licenses out, we don't care, just stop it, right? Okay. And the problem is that people have a problem. They tell you the problem, they tell you that, like, give me a solution. And that's what's rather, like, so we won't have to vote anyways, we won't have to have ministers. We said fix our economy. And the Minister of Finance, okay, so how do you want me to fix your economy? You see, I feel like it's a way older people either try to be manipulative or condescend. Or not just older people.
Just dismissive.
Yes, particular people in power. So it's just like saying, fix yourself. It's just trying to skirt around the problem and not really address the issues that the people have.
That's fair enough. Ralph, do you have something to say before I go on to another theme of the conversation?
What Roger and Francis speaks well of what I have said.
Also, for example, this fix yourself thing, my general idea was that it would mean that citizenry themselves have a problem, perhaps a mentality problem. But the thing about human beings is we are always in a natural state of chaos. When there are boundaries set, when there are rules, when systems are working, definitely people fall in line, right? So I like everything Bannerman and Ralph have said is spot on, because it's like it's some dilly-dally diplomatic way, So we don't necessarily need.
But to even jump in on that, I think the youth can. There is a end goal for protest.
Okay.
And there is an end goal that people that are think tanks, people that are policy initiative driven, propose to government through their own form of protest.
Okay.
So I don't think we've had that type of history in Ghana where think tanks have called out government over a particular policy, but I think we've had a couple, especially in the energy industry. We've seen one about SML where ASEP was calling out the government on a particular policy that they were. It didn't involve the youth, but these are different models of protest against particular sorts of decisions that the government make. The type of protest that the youth as a whole can make is not one that can be directly policy driven. It is the problems that we have, solve them, basically.
Yeah. So last one on the social and political issues before I go has to do with the Westernization conversation. So I took inspiration from, I saw Roger's tweet. So there's this thing with Ghana. We want to modernize, but we don't define what our modernization is supposed to look like. And it's because in our bid to say we are turning better, it looks like it's Western-centered. But when it gets extreme, we get back home and say, we don't like it because we have culture and religion. Example, LGBTQ is bad, and I don't do what the West do, blah, 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 blah. Then, some people, when they get there, well, they're not moving to me, so they can stay where they are staying, I can stay where they are staying. Now, me being ridiculous, I say, but you guys, if you know you don't like LGBTQ, then stop watching football matches where they talk about the rainbow. People should stop watching those movies. Nah, you can't say that, because once you say that, you are not trying to paint the line. What would you guys say would define as development generally, and what should it look like? Because in the past 1 year, if you look at it, and I want you guys to take it from different aspects. You can do energy, you can do politics, you can do it from different sectors. Because even to the point of politics, we claim we are social democratic parties. We claim we are this, we are that. If you want to do any small thing, we are very quick to compare to the Western people. You get every single independent candidate, even those who ran. And if you go to Dubai, if you go to US, if you go to wherever, everybody wants to use that as a metric. But all of a sudden, when it comes to certain things, we are quick to get back to our shell. We are Africans. What would you guys say if you look at the year as a whole? 2 things I would need, your review and your feedback. The idea of development, what has it been? And what do you think it should be? Let me start with Ralph this time.
Okay. I think this is, I'll take this from something Roger tweeted 2 days ago. I think Ghanaians are largely consumerist. And because of that attitude, we try to copy more than we should. And there is the lack of sense of innovation in what we consume, especially when we have shown mass interest in it.
Okay.
And this comes from the front of cultural, speaking of music, our choice of fashion, our choice of foods, our lingo. And now we come to Twitter and we are arguing that there are words like sha, japa, infusing the Ghanaian space. Especially when you are not projecting the ones that you have. Yeah. So for me, I think these developments can happen when you are not trying to be what you aren't. Because like Ghanaians can develop and still bring it into their Ghanaian context. But we try to be so different from Ghanaians so that we will look like the developed one. And a clear example that I want to is like this audacious discussion we are having on Twitter.
Oh my God. I didn't expect you to do this.
Why are we not discussing Chinua Achebe's books? Yes. That's because you've not read.
That's Nigerian.
Fine.
Okay, I'm a Tedu, I'm a Darko, all of those people.
Actually, to shock you how many people, the people who are claiming Africa, it to shock you how many of them have not read any Chinua Achebe.
Exactly.
Bro.
So like,
shock you.
And these things, to be very honest, my dad could read the first page of Chinua Achebe, all Chinua Achebe's books, and that shows you the type of patriotism that these guys had for their country. And believe you me, these guys were way more developed than we are. Just that they did not have technology. But when it comes to ideology, you could see the type of books that Kwame Nkrumah wrote, the type of plans that he had for the state. Look at people like Buzia, looking at people like Dankwa. You see that their ideologies were way more beyond.
It's like you're towing a certain line.
Hey, please feel free. Mention more.
Just noticing.
Yeah, it's like we are just observing.
Before observing lines that are not there.
Oh, don't worry. All of us said, "I'm like, just go. Don't mind the boys."
I'm a bit
draw the line.
So I mean, I think that these people had access to developmental ideas. We can also get that without copying it.
I have honestly, this is just me being ridiculous, and I don't think I'm in the mood for that. But we have tweets. We can see tweets from great men on Twitter and smart ass people. Shafiq Simpson, Roger, Panaman, all of the guys giving tweets that are very intellectual, using complicated English and big grammar to be able to tell us what development should look like in real time. You see, people like your dad probably didn't have social media and the rest, so it was books they used to get to communicate.
Yeah.
But now when you wake up in the morning and you see Roger bamboozle you with some climate change conversation, or you get all of those things, those things are there.
Use miscreant, use bamboozle.
Oh, relax.
You're black.
Oh, no. I think I'm just trying to be in the whole energy. But as I get what Roger was saying, but Roger, since I started with you, let's just use you as reference again.
Okay, so I think.
And by the way, before that, I quoted you on the development conversation. You read it, right? About how, because we're colonized, and this is my theory, we're colonized by the West.
Yes.
What they give to us was religion.
Yes.
And the religion they gave to us as the way to heaven was based on their means.
Yeah.
Now they've changed or they've evolved from that, but we took the raw form of it. Even development is based on what they see it to be. So it means that they've already cultivated a seed in us, and even with the growth that is happening, it's still based on how we see it to be. So what is development? You can't stay in a two-hat house. You have to stay in a house with AC and the rest of all those things based on the Western view. Even church. Yeah, there are even theories as to how religion started in Africa and things like that, and Jesus has a black person, but this is just me being silly. I want to ask you, he's given us a social aspect of it. Like, you are, honestly, bamboozle us. Let me just say that.
Okay, so, well, Charlie, no, bro, I think fundamentally Ghanaians need to ask themselves at certain points certain questions. One of the most important ones is, do I actually like what I am doing? Yeah. Or am I just doing it because everybody else is doing it or it's in vogue? Do I drink boba because I really like the taste? Or because everybody is holding a fika cup or a daddy boba cup? Do I, that's the thing. I feel like we become so performative as society. We are so much focused on consumerism, and it's killing us. No sense of innovation. Everybody wants a plate with chocolates, this thing written on it as a proposal.
That was, what's it called? Conspicuous
consumerism. Yes. Everybody needs to see this there so that everybody. And there's this whole, there's this thing I've noticed, especially on social media. There's always some elitism waiting to come out at a point. Even those who are social justice warriors, there's always some elitism there, and it will always rear its head when there's a certain conversation. Every time it's there.
Somebody said it's the own go, but you go.
Every time it's there.
You destroy yourself.
A lot of people.
Every time it's there.
Yourself because you belong to that class.
Understand. No,
I really do not mind if you think. Oh no! I really do not mind if you think that way.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I don't see it that way, and that's fine.
When he said it, there's someone who came to mind. I will not say it here, but I understand.
It's crazy, but we are also moving away from community. The mindset of community. Everybody's always so individualistic. And once you're individualistic, you cannot develop the nation because everything becomes about me. I need to get my AC. I need to get my 4-wheel drive. I need to get this. It's nothing about the next door neighbor. Nothing of the sort.
Actually, you need to get them.
I'm not saying you don't need to get them. All I'm saying is that if you don't think long term or about other people, then the collective drive that we need to foster change doesn't come. Because what if today we all need to band together and do something, but no, me today I want to chase this particular thing, so that's it. It's become more of an individualistic conversation. And yes, we are global. Some people call it a global village. We have globalization going on, so definitely cultures will intersect, etc. Cultural relativity will have its dynamics, ups and downs, all of that. But at the end of the day, I just want to get why, if you hear someone is called, I don't know, maybe Peter Amekeke, that one you look on him with such disdain for his name, but when you hear my name, that's a Dutch name, it's like, hey, what a nice name. My name is Roger Max Scott Lutrot.
So you do
no, if you like, no, but for weird reasons, all the guys that are here, the only person where name be Amankwa be Raphael. Because Frank Bannerman.
Raphael Arthur, yes.
Might as well ditch the Ralph and go Kofi Amankwa.
But see, the thing I said about the individuality that is happening, what I think is that what we even fail to recognize, and why I still say we are, no offense, we are, as a continent, we are Ashao, in the sense that we were built from a community kind of system. Because if you think about it, even if you look at the village system, the settlement system we used to have, and even up till now, we are still living in a system where we believe in community system, caring about one another, external family, and all those things. Those things have a way that they shape how people think. Environmental determinism, where they actually affect how people think and how they see themselves. If you compare it to the West, where usually, apart from the performative one that happens during Christmas, where they all sit on the table and do chicken and the rest
Thanksgiving.
of that, and Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Usually, most of them don't do how we care about. There is a funeral, somebody's child is sick, then you now leave your house at Kaswa to go and meet the person at 37 just because you're aunties and families. There's something, we've not defined ourselves as a people. We take what we want as at where we need it based on interest. So for me, I still think that has been our problem, even with what you say, because in our bid to develop, everybody cares about development only if the interest is individualistic.
Yes.
Once it triggers off,
we are
all back to default settings.
See, we might not the Western world might not have our conventional ways of community.
Exactly.
But they are neighborhood watch groups. There are people that will see that their next door neighbor's house is getting broken into, and then they will call the next door neighbor. When they are going somewhere, they leave their kids with their. You see, there are people. That's why I'm trying to say that. You see, there's a sense of community that we might not see because we see it through a different lens here. But that is what bonds them together and makes sure that their civic responsibilities are being executed, in my opinion.
But that's more caring.
I think for Africa,
it's caring in outside where like people see things and they want to poke their nose into their nose.
Fair.
But even away from that, the only reason why they can even do that is because they've dealt with the basic problems like health, poverty, and all those things. So they can even call fire service and the rest. Here, you can't use.
People are being a bit unfair to Ghana.
No. But honestly, that's like his opinion. So you can decide to be the champion warrior to defend Kwame Nkrumah's.
And do you know why I would say
but you go on.
Because someone was saying recently that in Ghana, if you don't have food, it's far easier to go to people's mothers and you may get something. Not you will, you may get something.
Okay.
And this comparative, because I've seen people in New York, right? Not that I've been there, but I've been on TV, sitting on the streets, like hungry, dirty, nobody's helping them. They are stepping over your hungry body. They are stepping over your, like, it's not like you have a mental issue. You just don't have anything or anywhere else to go. They don't have that kind of culture. But we do. Right?
Well.
So the point here is that we do have some form of self. The problem is that the pick and choose thing we're talking about, when we pick and choose, we want to pick and choose things based on the thing that is like, I want to say we are hypocrites in a way.
Obviously, feel free to drop it.
Like on one hand, you want to be able to benefit from the kind of development that the West has had as a result of their liberal developments, etc. The thing is that kind of change only happens, or not only, happens usually when the people themselves are accepting of other groups of people or want to move forward. There are other cultures that haven't been able to do that. They haven't had the kind of liberal whatever, but they've developed. And that's because they usually have like a continent culture mindset, like China, like Japan, like Korea. These are people whose cultures have existed and evolved for so many years. For us, our cultures have been fractured for a very long time, was worsened by colonization and is worsening by Western imperialism. So it becomes very difficult for you to blame us for how we are right now.
Can you fault that to democracy? Because the examples you give are ones that the consistency can only happen with brutal imperialism.
Hey,
conservative.
Charlie, relax. Relax.
Oh my God.
Relax. First of all, two things. Charlie, what's a bro for pass? That's the first thing.
God.
But two. I beg.
Where the convo they go?
Where the convo they go?
But it's a review.
I beg for.
I get it, Rob.
I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from.
I think we can just give.
What we are doing right now is because what's funny is the question I asked you people.
I know where you're coming from.
No, but guys, the question I asked you guys was just about.
And it needs to be hard.
No, it needs to be hard, but Charlie, it's not now. We are shopping Christmas. We are trying to do the way. Charlie, what you're doing right now is like you're trying to give them extension from CO to change the whole room. But bro,
No, but he's asking a good question.
But not the right time.
But I fear of
the
repercussions
because I have
that question.
I have a very weird response, and I feel like if I say
before we go, that my responses are owned by myself only, not by my employer or by anybody else.
Okay,
guys,
fair disclaimer.
Fair enough, but because of that, the end to that conversation is all different opinion matters, and it is good that we see that way. Because, because I know where this convo can go, but obviously, let's just talk to the next one. The next one is a very interesting one. Let's talk about elections. And this one, the reason I want us to be very brief about it is because you, Frank, I've watched all our episodes. So I think for the elections we've said, I was tired already. So let's give Raph and Roger. Okay, Raph more because Roger is I'm not so much of a political person. I'm a diplomatic doctor and voiceover and stuff like that. So engineer, let's just talk about everybody. Let me just ask everybody. The entire year, the election calendar, when it started, it looked more like, wow, this could be a very interesting election. Could be very tight because the themes of the conversations were around free SHS, and it was about how would parliaments look like. NPP does their delegate stuff. Lots of MPs says they will not go. Over 60 plus MPs don't even get re-elected in their party primaries. People choose their vice. It became the conversation about first woman is good, is this. Everybody has their own daddy. The whole year goes. Then election outcome comes. Everybody's like, it could even go to a runoff. Election comes and it's a beat down. And it seems like after the election, you see that thing of so much tension, expectation, and hype after the election has happened, and it's just like, wow. One, were you shocked about the results? Two, what do you have to say about the entire Ghana democratic process? Because as of now, what country is that? There's a country currently fighting. Mozambique. They've had the election and
about 70-something people died.
People are dying, and how it's crazy about how these things are, especially in Africa. What do you have to say about the entire electoral system, electoral outcome, and the electoral practice? What do you have to say about it, Ralph?
Yeah, I think going outside of Ghana, this year has had a lot of elections.
You went outside Ghana? Or?
Please.
Okay.
Please. The election results we've had outside Ghana and the implications, we've seen how the youth in Kenya had to come in, like how you are talking about Mozambique and all of that. I do not think that the tensions within this election, I would rather flip what you said, because I think this preparation to our elections was the boring I've ever witnessed. This election was actually much interesting after the results came out. Because like the interactions we had between parties, I mean, we are on Twitter, we're engaging issues, so we might have seen it differently. But when you go to the market women, I do not always want to mention the market women because of how ridiculed Twitter had been.
No, before you go on, disclaimer on that. Disclaimer on that. And I think I have to just say it now. Nobody should ever come and do Anzam elitism or because of some school we've gone to. It means that people are not pursuing their personal interest. In the past 6 months, I've been able to confirm that nobody is more sensible than any market woman anywhere. That is because not you. I'm doing this is a personal thing I'm raising out there. People try to make it look like we go to school more, so because of that, our decision we are taking is probably more intellectually driven or different. That's a bloody lie. One, it's usually about interest, and two, we've seen very extremely smart people defend stupid things, all in the name of intellectualism. So let everybody put that line off of market women conversation, and their voters, their votes counted. Either you did PhD, you did masters or whatever, your vote of one is as equal to them.
Be a chill guy.
Thank you.
Be like, he vex to come.
Because I've seen that kind of chat of and a market women or people who are. And
I feel like as a slur, it's very disrespectful.
Very, very disrespectful. But
that's why
back to your conversation.
The moment I mention, you bring that disclaimer. Because
disclaimer.
I get it. I think we should just the average Ghanaian.
Fair enough.
Because to be very honest, those interactions we had in the past elections where Party A says this, Party B responds on a policy, we did not really have that in this election. Because to be very honest, I think one party had realized that the efforts they should put in would not churn out the results they expect.
Charlie, you can be clear.
No, I beg you.
Okay.
So we did not see that intellectual matchup that we expected. And it even went on to the level where debates were avoided. We did not have like a presidential debate And that's the first time I've seen that not happen.
Oh, we had some here in the studio.
You see, so I think to an extent, I witnessed the most boring preparation to an election. Up until the election day, then we are like, no, something is actually happening. Some turnover is happening. Then you see people doing press conferences. You see like the discussion going on around. Then that's where you realize that the excitement is actually bubbling up. And after the election, then collation results are not yet done. Like oral is coming up. Policies are being like Alan Cash is bringing his policies to Mahama. So like you hear people coming.
Cheddar also said he's ready to work with Mahama.
Yeah, like you hear the MPP people coming out to speak like they've been holding up a lot.
Let's just verify. A day before election, Cheddar was telling us how he got his time.
Shout out to Briscoe, by the way.
Shout out to Briscoe, by the way. Do you know what person actually appreciates his composure in today's? Is the Roger.
Roger is a balance we have today.
Yeah,
because we are not veering off a lot.
Yeah, but go on, Ralph.
Yeah, because like I do not want to be shading here and there. Like just stay in the middle. I think, to be very honest, and I should commend us as Ghanaians because we also had a little bit of tension with how the youth had risen up to be on the street, that if something flips, there is going to be an uprising. But we were all chill. Like, I acknowledge the co-palmer in every one of us.
Nice one.
Like, we had a very good like tolerance throughout these elections. I actually went to my polling center and everybody just vote and go back home.
Yeah.
And it was a very quiet one. So, I mean, I think that we've progressed to a level where this election wars, having people die here and there, is gradually reducing. We haven't eradicated that problem, but I think we should get there. But even to the whole election process, because this is about just the campaign, the people's reaction to it, I think the electoral process can be made better. Like we were discussing prior to this session, we don't really need collation centers. We've gone to a level where people should vote and everybody should know the count. It is quite unfortunate that today we are hearing Supreme Court make a decision that let's keep some results, but let's recount some results. It might be legally right, but the precedence it's set for further years is what I fear. Because if Supreme Court can just make any decision based on legal reasons, then, to be very honest, all four of us here, based on history in participating in debate, we've defended the most shittiest arguments ever. Imagine if any of us are Chief Justice. Like, you can give justification to the most mundane judgment you give. And once you have legal backing, you are good. I don't think the metric of good judgment should be just here to that. We should look at the precedence and the impact it has on further parts of the society.
A contribution to that, because that's in line with what you are saying. Before I forget, there's this guy Fando. I went to high school with him. I think he's one of the NPP communicators, and he was saying, but then the High Court give us the, because I pointed out that like, if you are claiming things like duress, don't you think that there should be a process to go through to prove duress in all those places and all that? I was like, but the High Court gave them the go ahead. And I'm like, that's not the point. The point is the fact that it's legal doesn't mean it's problematic. Slavery was legal. Like, it still was terrible. So I get you with the precedence thing. We are yet to see how those things will turn out in the future. But from an objective point of view, it may be problematic, as you are saying, going into the future.
Roger, what do you have to say about
first of all, Chelsea fans are insufferable.
Wait. Wrong. Wait. Unfortunately, no, not just three.
I don't care.
The problem is, this is not the time for you to have a discussion about Chelsea.
Is there United
Exactly.
Yeah, for two reasons.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You are well on the table.
I'm worried.
Aren't you ashamed?
Let's focus on the discussion at hand. So the discussion on the hand is that you
know, you look like Rashford.
I decided to go on.
Good, guys. Really, the discussion at hand is that, first of all, I'm also not a legal person, so I don't have thoughts. I'm not going to express any thoughts on this matter. I'm going to watch it play out, right?
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to be an election observer with Coalition of Domestic Election Observers. And what I realized is that everybody was chill during the voting process. There wasn't really tension. I think that this year I realized there was some sort of apathy. Because of the turnouts in certain areas, right? So I feel like it got to a point where people just perhaps felt like they didn't want to vote anymore. But maybe things will change.
Okay.
Maybe things will change. But generally, we are seeing very interesting things we've never seen before in the history of Ghana. Things in parliament, things everywhere. So for me, I'm both excited and worried.
Okay.
Excited because it's new. Let's see what happens. Let's see how people dissect the issues. Worried because what does this mean for our future? So those are the kind of things I'm thinking about. But I have no comments about the results of the election. I'm just glad we got through it safe and sound.
Definitely.
Okay, Banaman.
So the only thing I'll add, because I think we are summing up on the political thing in the elections thing, is that I think we should look at what happens now that there's a new government in power.
Okay.
A couple of things. One, I have an issue with the way people are treating oral, because the idea is that oral has been set up to recover all loot, and the idea is that they're supposed to check like acts of corruption and all those things. I feel like I've said this before, with Mahama especially, people really bash him and criticize him about the smallest things. I think we should be more objective in our criticisms. We should be more, we should say these things in good faith. Wait for them to fail. If you want them to fail, let them fail and call them out. Don't criticize every single thing that they do in bad faith, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
Because, and the reason why I'm saying this is that, I have a very big issue. If you're a party stalwart, even if you're a party stalwart, right?
Jelly stalwart in the saying.
If you're a party foot soldier, if you belong to a party and you want to ride for them, no matter what.
Why do they have horses or something?
Leave me alone. If you are such a person, right, you should at least criticize from a point of view of caring about Ghana. Do you care about thieves being caught? Yes. Do you care about Ghana not losing money? Yes. If that's the case, why do you want to always attack bodies that have been set up to do these things? If there's an objective criticism, that's fine. So for instance, I saw criticism about how they are not really a constitutionally mandated something, but a lot of bodies in Ghana are not constitutionally
I know where this is going.
They are still set up, right? So my own is looking into the future. As Roger said, it's exciting, but it's also worrying because we don't know what the new government is bringing. So let's just be able to criticize them in good faith and then see what happens.
Okay, for me, I disagree with Ralph. The same way Ralph disagrees, I disagree. What I think is that there is no line to where criticisms happen. The best way you can respond to them is by acting right. So it's not about the stories. Reason being, you said you reset the country, and the thing is, I get where people are expecting a lot. I know what you mean. I get where people are. I know where you are getting where the line should be drawn at. But the thing is that you can't control how these things happen, but you can control how you would work and how your people would deal with it. For example, even just last week or earlier this week, the issue of the female representation and all of that. Those things are things that, for me, I find it very funny.
Very commendable response from, what's her name?
Is it the PA?
Yeah, the PA.
Yeah. But the thing is, we've seen how people are commenting on the issues because it's looking like you guys were in power, and I've already started getting that thing already because all of a sudden people are saying I'm 700 Twitter. Meanwhile, for the past 4 years, I've been engaging the current government. The thing is, people are assuming anybody who criticizes them now is automatically a member of the NPP, forgetting that there was a point in time when we were all Ghanaians and we cared about how things go out. So if I decide to respond and say, Muhammad, it's 120 days already after office, you were supposed to do A, B, C, D, E, F. What is happening? You shouldn't come and make it look like, but somebody was in power for 8 years, so why are you asking? All of those things shouldn't be things you should be saying in the current government.
Just to say that, I understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
And my issue specifically with a certain group of people. So people who say, oh, but Mahama said he will bring the dollar to 1 cedi. We said, we are waiting. Mahama said Kenke will now be 1 cedi. We are waiting. Hey, on 8th January, we are going for protest to stop Galamsey. Because wanted to stop Galamsey.
I've seen all of those tweets.
All those conversations to me are in bad faith.
Yeah.
Bad faith. I would never ever support such criticisms. And of course, you can't control where the criticism will be.
Yeah.
But me, so long as I have breath and so long as I see things like that, I will speak against it. Because I feel like we should be able to allow people to do their work. If they fail, then you can call them out.
But my point is, again, you can always pressure people to do their work, either good faith or bad faith. My point is, people who have won, you have bigger responsibility. So I have a friend, Julius, I think I had a discussion with him. I said, Julius, when you're in opposition, it's easy for you to see whatever you say. Now you're in power. You can't say anything you would say because you have bigger responsibility on you. When we say, why is this happening? You can't come and insult me and tell me you didn't say same during the
final thing. Wow, sorry. So this same conversation, I see a lot of people saying that, all those who didn't say anything, keep quiet, bro. Nobody is keeping quiet.
Because
first of all, you can't tell people what to do, right? Secondly, you can't tell people not to speak up because they didn't speak up in the previous government. Just do your work. Like,
if you are doing your work will speak for you. Because the current government, it wasn't about the talks. Because at some point in time, the talks were a lot, but the vote showed that the work was what it meant. I'm sure we have we have 5 to 6 minutes. I want to do something quite fun out of order. That's what Andrew said we should do. We've done the whole season and it's been quite fun. Andy says that he wants us to discuss like certain social issues that are quite important, like mental health, dealing with, like, people have to give advice on like certain things and how people deal with them. Reason being that we're about to enter it's a new year we're about to enter. One of the biggest challenges young people are facing has to do with how to deal with pressure, how to deal with situations. We are the Gen Z economy, Gen Z generation. We expect things to come easy. The previous generation are pressuring us that we should suffer. For us, we've seen what other people our ages are doing outside the country. We've seen people who are our mates who have left the country and have even put in less the efforts that we put in and still get bigger results versus some of. Anyways, let me just not say what I want to say. But it has to do with trust in 4 hours and not getting rent. But the point is, let us have like that discussion generally. Things you should look forward to next year, words of encouragement, things to generally say about how things go. Relationship-wise, some people are really faulting, some people are having all of those things. Why you smile? Go on. So it's just a general conversation to break and just like get at the
Raph, are you okay?
We need to
are you okay, Ralph? Are you okay?
I think we can start from there.
Yeah, are you okay, Ralph?
Fine.
You're fine?
Okay. Yeah. If you say so.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
I assume that question you're asking because you're a doctor. I don't think it has any malice intended.
No.
And you, I think you're asking.
Oh, you are my friend. I'm asking you.
All of you are my friends.
Yes, we're asking you.
Because I think I'm the only person who seems to have genuine care about Ghanaian youth, not the two of you.
Really? Well, mental health, I think we should start with Doc. Because, Doc has a lot to say. I take a lot of advice from him when it comes to mental health. He's always looking fresh, looking...
I'm bothered by life.
Exactly. Like, no pressure.
I don't think that's true, but let's just go on.
Well, thank you very much for that, Ralph. So generally, I think that for people who find themselves mostly in the capital, for instance, living in Accra itself is a mental health threat, okay? Because the traffic alone in the morning, when you're using public transportation, sometimes I see people fighting, dressed elegantly in their office attire, fighting for seats.
You know the funny thing? Everything you are saying is touching him.
Oh.
Everything.
My bad, Ralph. I'm just being very general. There was a point where I had to travel 3 hours to my workplace and 3 hours back every day. And you go and sit in a wooden or concrete box for your work, come back, spend another 3 hours in a metallic box, go home. It's crazy, right?
When does it end?
When does it end? Exactly. But the thing is, I feel that these are some of the issues that I think people are looking at them being addressed. transportation, stuff like this. Because Charlie, yeah, bre, that's the truth. Yeah, bre, a lot of us here, bre. New Year is coming. Of course, you will set resolutions, etc. I think I made a tweet about this recently. They don't exist in vacuum. It's not like when the earth completes a revolution, suddenly you become a magical creature. Like, you need certain factors. You need, maybe if it's an accountability partner, if you need to put certain checks in place, all of that, because otherwise then you're just going to exist in vacuum. Talk to people. Talking helps. Isolation doesn't help. Talk to people a lot. Always have conversations. I like to have random conversations in public transport. Whenever I pick an Uber, I talk with the driver. We talk about a lot of things. It helps. It helps keep you grounded. Have hobbies, guys. Have hobbies. And they don't need to be expensive. You don't need to do gentrified creative art with wine. You don't need to do that.
Remember I wanted to go and play tennis?
Yeah.
I went to check one of the tennis clubs. Charlie, we can't find our hobbies right now.
Yeah.
So get other hobbies.
Guys,
I watch comedy sometimes.
I want you to make it very straight. Gentrified what?
Creative arts.
So like sip and paint.
Yeah, so
Please, I said gentrified creative arts. That's it.
Anyways, I think to add to what he's saying, wait, before that, relax.
No, but it's
Wait, last one. Before that, I think the basic problem has to do with salary and the money people are earning in the economy.
Okay.
The reason I'm saying so is we understand you, the older generation, when you tell us that, before you earn your first 1,000, you have to suffer a lot. That is fair. But most of you, those times that you were earning 1,000 cedis, probably your transport by the end of the month was like 200. You could save, you could buy TV, and the rest of that. Right now, transport fare alone, and even like basic, like people who are not even staying with their families. I try to think about it. The kind of things that they buy, even data and the rest of that, is lots of money. But second thing is, the mental health conversation is having when he says talk to people. For me, I think talk to the right people is what matters.
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
Some people, you talk to them, and when you are done, instead of you to get better, you don't start thanking God for your worst condition.
that's the thing too. Like, talking to people, you're talking to them as forms of friendship,
Yes.
health conversation.
Yes.
That's your problem.
Charlie.
But how did we get here?
I'm sure.
Some people don't know. Some people actually don't know how to make friends.
Wow.
Especially when it comes to the opposite. sex.
Okay.
Friends are not a pill. So, Charlie, but adding on to the mental health conversation. So the only thing I would say is that for anyone out there, including myself, I'm also giving myself this motivation. Don't be pressured by other people and then also the older generation.
Yeah.
Like, these people bought houses for like 200 cities and Kolano too. Like, they bought houses for such cheap
Let me just
prices.
cook them this one time. I swear to God, most of them didn't build their houses till they were 40, 50. They had to use their first years to pay people's school fees, pay for rent, dealing with their cousins, uncles, children, and the rest of that.
It's a lot.
But you go on.
My
Roger had a look. He said, "Well,
Oh no. I have nothing to contribute to that conversation.
my point is this: like, the older generation had it far easier, I would say, comparatively far easier. Even in the US, like owning a house is becoming a problem. People can't even buy houses. But do you see the nonsense they are doing in Accra? Houses, $2 million and things, like, it's so expensive.
But have you tried renting?
Please, is it nonsense or is it because you are not the target market?
Most of us are not the target market too. Any target market.
Oh yeah, that one they be true.
That's the problem. So there's a lot of
$2 million
for a house
can buy, like,
bro.
I don't know. The things it can do outside Ghana is
exactly.
quite a lot.
So my point is, there are so many things which are so ridiculously expensive in our time. So you may think that, I'm 25 years old. There's someone I recently talked to a friend of mine who is doing a PhD right now and almost done, 25 years old. I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy. 25 years old people in Ghana are now trying to get jobs, trying to do masters, So don't be pressured by other people because we are all different people. We come from different environments. We face different problems and barriers. The only thing you need to do is that you are paddling your own boat. You are making sure that at least you are working towards something. You are applying. You are getting rejected, but you are applying. You want to... I know this is striking nerves, but like, that's the thing. You have to apply to get rejected. You have to apply before you get in. So at least you know that, okay, for these number of months, I'm applying to this and that. I want to do this course. What do I need to do this course? Like, all these things. If you know that at least every single day there's something incremental that you are doing, then you know that you are going somewhere, you're heading somewhere.
The Japanese call that Kaizen.
Yeah, I think I've seen that before.
It's a nice philosophy.
Eventually, you are getting there. Another thing, the final thing I'll add is you can only achieve these things through discipline, right? You can't just have thoughts in your head, and that's another problem. People have a lot of thoughts in their heads and what they want to become, even including me sometimes. A lot of thoughts. But you stay in your bed, you don't do anything about it, you don't plan, you don't write things down, you don't ask people, oh, I've been thinking about applying for this thing. This person has done it before, this person knows about it. Then you oh, Charlie, how did you do it? What do I need? You know, discipline.
I think they spend more time thinking than doing.
Dream.
Exactly.
Dare to dream. But
it's sorry, just before Ralph comes. That's a form of I don't want to use that term, but you just get yourself off by thinking about it. It's like when you tell people your plans, you get some high off of it. But it's always better to make sure you do it.
You are doing it.
Yeah.
Ralph, what do you have to say? Or you think the guys have exhausted all of that? So you want to tell us about love?
I think to an extent.
We should make money, like you.
You should find love.
Well,
okay.
Find God. That's the most important thing. To be very honest. Because, find a community. Find a community that's like, do the things you like. If it's church, be active in church. Try singing. Try joining and play an instrument. Don't just stay on Twitter. Somebody will trigger you. Somebody will trigger your problems. And elite, like some proximate national cake person will tweet something that will trigger you.
And when you're angry, they'll just off their phone and go to Bali. They'll go sit down by a beach house and
you'll be ranting on Twitter. So find something that is not on a device to do. If it's gentrified creative arts, do it.
While sipping wine.
Well, even if you can't sip wine, drink your water, be fine. And to be very honest, I think this was a discussion we're having. People are not really using the Pantine, please. Because it's not only for people that are mad.
Yeah.
It's also for people that are going through mental depression.
I
people that are mentally challenged.
Good.
Thank you.
I actually recently found out that Kolebu, I found out the price for going to see a therapist. It's not that expensive.
Yeah, like how much?
We just don't know. Oh, I forgot to buy some.
I just think we as a people do not value therapy.
Yeah.
You see, Kojo Q has a song on For My Brothers. It has this line where it says, but who to tell? Charlie, who to tell? My cousin was defiled, something. There's this song. And anytime I listen to that song on For My Brothers, I just realize that we as a people do not value therapy. Yeah. We feel like we should hoard everything inside, or it's just our immediate people that we need to talk about and then it's solved.
That's why I'm happy to have my friends that are my therapists and the ones that are doctors that are now voiceover artists. Actually, this episode has been quite fun.
But that's morning voice notes.
Oh no, wait. Yeah. No. I guess I've got that. Before that, guys, just so you know. Just so you know that our doctor here is actually a voiceover artist and he's looking for gigs. In fact, this voice is the afternoon voice. That's why you might not get the tip of it. But if it gives you that morning voice to do an ad, you would actually get it good. But I'm so grateful to have you guys here. And to be fair, I want to thank every single person that has been following us and listening to the podcast, subscribing on all platforms from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're on Spotify, Apple, and we've been dropping lots and lots of content the whole year. We want to say thank you. I want to say a big shout out to Andrews because, to be fair, Andy brought up this. We had this idea, we had a discussion as one of those things, and Andy has made it so much of a dream. And it's a very nice way to end the season one with friends and family. Obviously, thanks a lot, Ralph, for coming. When we start, we'd actually be expecting more of you. Roger, second appearance, great one, voiceover artist. We hope things get better as with your career. To Frank, it's been very much great having you here throughout the whole process. And Zoe, who wasn't here because she's still cooking Christmas food and all of those things, she owes us one. I want to say thank you too for that, and every single person that has been sharing our content. My name is Raphael Arthur, and I really do hope that we enjoyed our Christmas. we look forward to having a very good new year, and we hope things get on better. I wanted to say you should follow everybody on their social media handles, but most of us here are professionals and we try our best to keep ourselves off. So with that, you can search for me at AtarokGH on Twitter or Saltpond Tiger Woods, and would have so much time engaging each other. Frank Bannerman on Twitter, all of them have their names on Twitter. I'm the only person who don't use my name, but you could always follow up and we just catch up and have a good time. Thanks a lot, and peace out.